Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. I was just going through some of my college work and just seeing how well I've been doing recently. I think I'm entitled to a little support. I have no idea why this is the most, requested subreddit I've ever seen, even on other people's, Oh, okay, no, let's do it then, okay, let's go. Hello, I'm from India. No, let's not do that. That would be bad. English isn't my first language, so apologies in advance for any mistakes. This incident happened about 8 years ago. It was my sister's birthday, and a lot of my family members from my dad's side were invited. My dad's sister, who will be called EM henceforth. Wow, 5 out of 10 English speakers probably don't know the word henceforth exists, so you're doing alright so far. And her daughter, EC henceforth, were visiting us after a lot of years because they shifted to California. So EM wanted her daughter to be the centre of attention since the moment they came in. EC was about 7 years old and everyone was quite taken with her because she spoke in an adorable accent. When it was time to cut the cake, EM wanted EC to cut it, even though it was my sister's birthday. The reason being, she is a kid. She deserves to cut the cake. She's the youngest of them all. My sister is way too old to be cutting the cake anyway. It was my sister's 11th birthday. EM's request/order was declined by my mum, which made EM quite angry. When dinner was served, EM was very hungry and sat down to eat. As soon as she started, EC started crying and demanding to be fed, and EM expected my mum to stop eating and feed her kid. My mother agreed. The worst was at the time of gift unwrapping. My sister loves Barbies, so she received a doll and a doll's house from my mum and dad, and I gave her a bunch of homemade chocolate that I made myself. What does your sister need chocolates for? Come and give them to my child. You are way too old for them. My sister gave EC some of them, which EC proceeded to start eating right then. My sister went to unwrap other presents and was made to share a bunch of the other stuff like sparkle pens, a set of crayons, etc. with EC. EC after some time started wailing. She wanted more chocolate. EM literally shouting, "Why have you not given her the chocolates? Didn't I ask you to? Why are you being so mean? She's your cousin. She deserves them." My sister was almost in tears and gave her 3 more. Now only 5 chocolates remained, which she gave to each of us. Mum, Dad, EM and me. I saved mine to give to her later. EM noticed this and asked me to give it to EC, since I obviously was not going to eat it. I didn't. When my sister got to unwrapping the doll's house and Barbie, EM actually pounced on the doll and started pulling it away from my sister. Now my sister started to cry, which made EM angry, and she screamed at my sister to shut up and stop being so mean and stingy. EC was from the US and did not have any Indian toys, and she needed the doll. Wait a minute, so was the doll not a Barbie then? Because if there's one thing I think of when I think of Barbie, I think of that weird dog pooping set where the dog poops and you have to pick it up.
Excuse us. You potty trained Tanner, Barbie. Barbie girl.
I mean America, I think of America. It's an American toy, so what? Why wouldn't this kid ever have access to a Barbie? It's not an Indian toy. I mean, it was probably all manufactured in, China, so, pretty close. My father flat out refused, which resulted in more screaming and crying. Then she left in a huff and kicked the doll's house, denting it. My sister was very sad, and needless to say, her birthday was ruined. But that was not the end. About an hour later, EM was back, kicking and screaming at our door, saying we had poisoned her kid, and that she would be suing us. EC's stomach was aching, but instead of going to a doctor, she had drove to our house. We seated them and called the doctor, during which EM was screaming about how we were all jealous of her and we would suffer a terrible fate. The doctor said the pains were because of overeating. Guess she shouldn't have had 6 chocolates then. EM then proceeded to blame me and my sister for everything and saying how both of us were spoiled and mean kids. This story's from about 8 years ago, but what's more exciting is there's a sequel. EM flips after she reads the post of her daughter and her. Hello again. I posted a story about my aunt ruining my sister's birthday day before yesterday. Turns out she or her daughter is on Reddit and are subscribed to r/entitledparents and read the story. This is what happened last night. EM called my dad last night about 11 when my dad was half asleep. How could you do this to us? Aren't we family? Why did you shame us like this? It was so many years ago. Couldn't you just let it go? And my dad had no idea what she was going on about and asked her what happened, to which she tells him we posted on Reddit about my sister's birthday. My dad doesn't know and doesn't care what Reddit is and asks what's the big deal. Wow, so your daughters do things without telling you? You should keep an eye on them. Don't let them get out of hand. You should have taught them manners. Your daughter just exposed and shamed us online. Oh hell, did I'm Alex make a we need to stop video on you? What are you saying? How did she expose you? She hasn't even talked to you in years. She posted a story about us, and as soon as EC read it, we knew it was about us. Dad asked me if I did and why, so I took a total of 15 to 20 minutes to explain to my dad what Reddit is and what I did. I tell him that I have just narrated a story and haven't exposed her identity in any way. So Dad just hands me the phone so I can explain it to her. As soon as I say hello, EM starts screaming at me loudly, and it can be heard from the outside of the phone. You how could you do that to us? Who do you think you are? You poisoned my child and then make it as if I was overreacting? Take that post down and apologise for it on that subreddit. If you don't, I'm going to sue you. I'm so angry I just said no, I wouldn't do anything of the sort, and that I would see how you can sue me all the way in California. EM then proceeds to call me and my sister a and similar things. My dad takes away the phone and asks her not to contact any of us again and blocks her. So, hey there, Aunt Sheila. I hope you'll read this. You know what, out of all this, I want to hear the 15 to 20 minute conversation of you explaining Reddit to your dad. Seriously, because I'm going to need some pointers on how to explain all of this to my parents. So I've got a dog who, as a shorty, is stuck in puppy mode. She's cute as, and is normally a fur explosion with a big soulful eyes and sweet little floppy ears. Most people that see her go, oh, what a lovely dog. They'll make conversation about her. She hides anxiety due to being abused before I got her, and we go our separate ways. As part of socialising her more, I took Doggo down to the local shopping centre. We'd sit outside and hang around near people, but she'd have places she could hide and watch people. It worked well. People saw her, said hi to her, and moved on. Not one EP. I was scrolling through my phone when I noticed Doggo getting into Hyde mode, and suddenly a woman pushing a stroller appeared. Excuse me, she said excitedly. I just wanted to say your dog is so cute. Oh, thank you. My daughter adores her. I looked at the kid in the pram. The kid was definitely not old enough to express any sort of opinion about a dog. Oh, I said dubiously. That's lovely. She'd like your dog. I laughed. EP did not laugh. Oh, sorry, you're serious? My daughter has an attachment to this dog. You'd be doing a disservice if you didn't let them grow up together. Oh, come on, does she actually talk like a robot? Your daughter hasn't even touched my dog. There is no attachment. I know these things. My daughter needs that dog. A mother knows, you know. I'm sorry, officers. I wouldn't have robbed that bank, but I just knew my 5-month-old would love all the money in that bank, and, you know, a mother knows. Frankly, if you arrested me and took away this money, you'd be doing a disservice to my child. Who's the real villain here? Your daughter will not be getting my dog, EP scowled. I have to say, you're being very rude about this. Why do you want to separate a girl from the dog that she loves? I chose not to dignify that with a response. Instead, I chose to put my headphones in, scoop Doggo up, and walk back home with her. I'm sure Doggo was devastated about missing out on her new life with that family, but sadly, we don't always get what we want. My family and I rescued a Persian cat from the street. We took care of her, and now she looks fabulous. A couple of months ago, we threw a party and we invited all our neighbours. Now, here's where the fun begins. EP comes up to me. What an adorable cat you have! What's her name? Her name is Nut, and she's 6 years old. To her son, what do you say? Should we adopt her? Excuse me? Our family has been meaning to get a cat for ages, and yours looks beautiful. No, she's our cat. We took really good care of her. I'm not about to give it to you. Stop being so selfish. EK got a lot of good grades this year, and I'm trying to reward him. When I got good grades, my reward was being told, that's good. And not being told, why don't you focus more on your work? You lazy b****. At this time, my mum hears the commotion and comes over to ask if everything is okay. EP tells her that she needs our cat for her son. Mum gives her a confused look and she asks if she's serious. EP says she is. She's our cat, but if you really want to adopt an animal, I would recommend the local adoption centre. No, my son really needs this cat. At this point, my mum got annoyed and asked EP to leave. EP starts swearing and saying that the cat is too good for us, and we are too poor to take care of her. Mum threatens EP to call the police if she doesn't leave. EP leaves in a hurry with EK. After a couple of months, EP leaves to another state. Since then, nobody has tried to take our cat away from us. If anything, you're too good for the cat. A cat just stays in the house when there's food and then it leaves. I once knew about a cat that had 2 families that thought they owned it. Because it would just wander in someone's house for half a day, eat the food, play with the family, and then leave. And instead of just wandering around the neighbourhood like each family expected, it went to another house and ate their food and played with the family. It took 5 years for them to figure out this is what was happening. Both of them thought they owned a cat. The cat owned them. I was in the mall after school and I had a music exam that day, so I brought my ukulele. Luna Huggggs mahogany wood for €79. Weird flex, but okay. I was sitting on a bench waiting for my friend to finish up when this parent comes up to me with her maybe 10-year-old daughter. I thought she was a nice woman at first. What kind of instrument is that? It's a ukulele. Why are you making up names for it? It's clearly a small guitar for children. You asked, dumbass. If you thought it was a tiny guitar, why did you ask for a name? Can I try it? Of course you can, sweetie. This woman straight up grabs the bag and starts unzipping it. Ma'am, I paid €79 for that. Just let her have it. You're being a selfish teen. I got up when she handed EK my uke and started pulling at the strings. That is not how you use it, and this is mine. I take the instrument out of her hands and she starts straight up screaming and crying. You don't deserve it. It's too small for you anyway. Just Google something for once. I walked off with my book bag and my ukulele as fast as I could. Does anyone else find it worrying that humans no longer store information and instead just store one basic instruction, which is to Google something, rather than, learn the information itself? Nah, it's probably fine. Nothing could go wrong with that. I have a service dog for PTSD. He's a 2-year-old German Shepherd called Zach. He's been professionally trained and is never out without his vest on. One day I was out for a walk with him and we passed this EM and her child. The child, around 6 years old, got ecstatic when she saw Zach and was bouncing around saying that she wanted to pet him. I kindly said that he was working and petting him would distract him and set off on a walk again. But EM quickly said that her daughter wanted to pet the dog, so she would. I tightened my grip on Zach's leash so that I wouldn't drop it just in case of an episode, but either way he could tell I was getting anxious. The EM then went up and grabbed his leash, yanking him backwards and calling her daughter to come up and pet him. Before I could react, her daughter came up, pulled on his tail before smacking him on the back and yelling "Doggy, doggy." He yelped, snapped around to face her and then fell down on the floor, which made me think he was in pain. She slapped that dog with the might of Zeus. Before I could say that she had hurt my dog, the mother shouted at me for having an aggressive dog that bit her daughter. She wouldn't let go of his leash and I'm not the strongest person, so I couldn't get him back. Luckily, the kid started crying and she took her hands off the leash. Despite thinking he was in pain, I set off running and was glad to find an area where I could calm down and check his hips. Luckily for the mother, he was fine, but I was a little shocked. He didn't bite the mother or the child, he just turned around, yelped and fell. I love how it took this mother's kid literally crying for her to drop the dog's lead. Like, what was she gonna do, take the dog home? Your dog scared my daughter, it's mine now! That's not how property works. A spooky clown! You're my slave now. Okay, so this happened just before Christmas 2018. I had a baby in the first week of December. When Bub was around 2 weeks old, I had to go to the shops to buy groceries and finish up buying some last few things for Christmas. I was sitting in the food court, feeding Bub and having a drink with myself, when this 4 to 5-year-old girl holding a doll comes up squealing, "Baby!" and tries to lift the breastfeeding cover I have on. Just wait a moment, I'm trying to feed her. Can I have a hold? No, she's only very young and needs her head and neck supported. All of a sudden, cute little girl becomes a screaming banshee, wailing at the top of her lungs, "I want baby!" Then she threw her doll on the floor and started stomping on its head while screaming. What did you do to make my baby girl so upset? I will not let her hold my daughter. She's eating and she's only little. Let her hold her. She's been wanting a sibling and I haven't been able to give her one. So I'll take yours! She's so gentle. just loves babies. Looks pointingly at doll. Really? Just give her the fucking baby. Jeez, some of you first-time mums are so bloody pretentious. Tries to pull the baby away from me. Touch my baby again and you'll be spending Christmas in the hospital. EM walks off with the little brat screaming, mumbling about mums who don't share. Well, yeah, I mean, communism didn't even make you share your baby. Even Stalin knew that was a step too far. What do you mean first-time mum? You're a first-time mum. You haven't been able to produce a sibling, that's your child. What? What? Thank you to Christian Levesque, Eskioso, Alexandria Nikelski, Sweet Martini, Misinformer, Astrod Upchurch, Brandon Thorpe, and Becca Rex. And thank you to all the other patrons who are shown on a list. I'm actually getting so many patrons that I'm worried the intros are going to go on a bit too long, especially with all the fan art. I'm also now getting, I think I got maybe 40 pieces, so I'm going to quickly go through them all. I'm not going to read out the names anymore because I literally can't. If you do want to send me any fan art, there'll be a fan art email in the description. When you send it to me, you need to include either your name that you want read out, or your Twitter handle, or your Instagram handle, or DeviantArt, whatever it is, and say what one it is, whether it's Instagram or Twitter or DeviantArt. But thank you to everyone. All the art is absolutely amazing. It's fantastic. There's a lot of people that ask me like whether or not, like, what favourite outfit I want drawn in. I don't care. I actually kind of am taking like ideas for outfits off of a lot of these drawings, so like experiment. I don't care. Thank you to everyone that has donated to the Patreon though, and if you do want to donate to the Patreon, it's down below. Don't feel like you have to give much. There's Discord tier awards for the Discord server, and also I'll post updates and polls on there when I need to, or anything like that for future videos. Thank you everyone that's supporting the channel so far. It's really amazing, especially with the recent insane growth that we've seen in the last few days it is for me. I mean, we've shot up from under 10,000 to 20k, but thank you to everyone that's supporting the channel so far. It's truly amazing. Thank you to making it to the end of the video. If you did like the video, please leave a like. If you're not subscribed already, subscribe down below and leave a comment. I love seeing them. I'll answer as many as I can, but I've got so many in the last few things that I wasn't able to go through all of them before they were replaced by a bunch of more comments. So, but do leave the comments down below. I love reading them. Alright, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. See ya.